Hello everyone and welcome to another episode in the world of Project Ruby and Mark III F-Reg Fiestas with the CTX 1.4 CVH. Yeah, okay, stop talking. Unfortunately, we've had a few snags with Ruby yet again. One thing for sure, this is not a carburettor related issue. And I'm now wondering whether this issue has been in the background ever since I bought the car and has probably plagued myself, Rob and Kieran and a few other owners, well, the previous owner, the original owner I should say, at some point. It may have even been the original reason why the car was laid up, and it's just staring me in the face in the engine bay. Shall we take a look? Hello Ruby. What has been going on here? Some of you may have already guessed. It's an electrical issue. The other day, I started Ruby absolutely fine, carburettor working perfectly fine. I parked it up overnight the following morning, and this has happened a couple of times now. I will get absolutely no cranking whatsoever, like there's a battery fault. And I tightened up the battery terminal, and a couple of times I may not have done it up enough because I keep taking it off or doing lots of work on my car. Not so much these days with Ruby though. And that would improve the issue. The car would start and it would work and it would misbehave as always, somewhat to do with the carburettor. However, I'm more and more suspicious about one particular item on this car, which has been part of the car for quite a few number of years. Now, those of you who are familiar with installation of 1980s, 1990s car alarms will be not surprised to hear that I have a slight issue with the Foxguard car alarm system. I mean, look at all this wiring. I mean, I was looking at this before and thinking, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Since when did 1980s car alarms ever work properly? Now, this one has always had the issue, and you've seen this personally, where I put the key in, turn the system on, and it's going off all the time. Now, I've overlooked a couple of things with this system. Number one, for just bring you in here, so on the dash, just where that hole is, you've got this LED. Now, I've cut these wires because I want to keep this LED because there's just going to be a hole in this panel. I might have to get a blank one. If anybody anyone who's got a blank one of these, please let me know. But for now, it will do. It's the last vestiges of this system, including these sensors, these ultrasonic sensors. By the way, I've just cut the wiring off. But I tell you what, I wasn't happy with the wiring being frayed anyway. So I suspected from the start that this was the reason why the system wasn't working. But there's no LED there. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then I was thinking, hold on. I'm only testing the car with the bonnet up. There's a bonnet switch. There was a bonnet switch screwed in here. It's got all bloody rusty now, so I have to give that a paint up. Never mind. It's here, right? I don't like the connection at the bottom there with this this switch that would just go here. It just went through here, and I'm very suspicious of this item. There we go, like that. Now, a lot of cars have that, but it's OEM stuff, you know. So we've got a couple of things going on with this, but I'm afraid I actually spoke to a company in Somerset which are the main suppliers of what would be these remotes. So this is a genuine Foxguard remote with the little LED, and the batteries, I think the batteries are working, but again, it's not responding. And what I've understood, and some of you in the comments can add up your stories. Has anybody got a story of where their 80s, 90s car alarm decided to go off or play up? Have you got any stories, any funny ones? Because I'm sure that those of you waking up in the middle of the night and my car alarm's gone off again. It's all right, no one's trying to nick it, it's just gone off by itself. You got any funny stories? But basically, they do supply, this company, brand new remotes, and half the issue is the remotes not losing sync with the control box itself. So that's a bit of a funny one. I've never wanted to have it working. Even if it was fully functioning, I'd turn it off. But what is alarming is it's not just a car alarm. Now this car does not have an ECU. It's got no factory immobiliser on it. Fantastic. But it does. I've got an aftermarket immobiliser. That's even worse. And I'm thinking, this is going to be wired into this car. And I just wonder if half the problems I've been having with this engine are anything to do with poor connections, that control box going wrong, and all the connections where they've spliced into the wiring loom. And my goodness me, for those of you who've watched that estate episode and the scotch locking that went on with that tow bar at the back of that car, unbelievable. And I was thinking, oh, is this exactly the same way going under here? This is not good. I think I need to get the bits of the dashboard off and have a look. And goodness me, guys, honestly, these are the wires that go to the ultrasonic sensors in the corner of the windscreen. Tons of wiring. I suspect most of the money made through car alarms back in the day was actually paying someone to damn well remove the system rather than installing the system. So I'll keep as much as I can. I mean, this will go in the box. I mean, it's useless now, but it's a nice little sort of, I don't know. I mean, this box is pretty intact and we know the alarm works, but I suspect it's not the control box, because from what I've understood from this company, these are very good boxes. There were numerous companies in the 80s, 90s that were doing this kind of stuff, and Foxguard is actually quite well renowned for being one of the best, but it was well advertised as well. There's a couple of other brands as well that used to do this, but that control box is absolutely fine. So I'll just put that in the spares, but everything else has got to be junked. It's absolute junk. It's just a museum piece at the end of the day, but I was hoping that it would be a nice museum piece because it's a good talking point. Now, I could just bolt this back on and just not keep it connected. I might well do that, just as a talking point, because people see the alarm and think, oh my God, yeah, I know. They'll see it's not connected up. That's the point. But what they've done is the wiring loom goes straight down into there, and then it comes round here through the corner of the dashboard. This is what used to go to that sensor. There was a brown wire that went all the way to that sensor there, and then you've got a red and a green wire that go to that part of the dashboard just down the back. That's it. And everything else, as far as I can see, is this. Now, I've got to be careful here, because can you see where they've spliced in? Yeah, I've cut all the wires off. Basically, I think it takes power from these three, which is your turn indicators. I suspect it was using power to the indicators, which is quite a nice idea, actually. I'm sure that was good practice. I don't think this was installed very professionally. I've got this impression now. I don't think it was installed by... Well, first of all, I think the dealer would have possibly had some options. I was under the impression maybe it was fitted at the dealer. Now, the way this system has been fitted, I don't think it was a dealer who did this. I think it was done maybe one or a couple of years later, maybe, because it just smacks of amateurishness. The soldering was so poor. I think these are the best soldered joints, actually. So I'm going to wrap them in insulation tape and forget about it. Now, what they've done is they've bloody butchered through the ignition cable. So if you just look here, now this is where I've crimped it, okay? Now, what they've done, I'm just going to take, excuse me, 2 seconds. I'll just put you down there while I undo this. But basically, oh, come on. No, I can't take it apart now. So basically what they've done is this blue wire here is supposed to go into this thing here. Yes, it's cut off where it goes through the plug. And that blue wire goes to the starter motor through, I believe, the starter inhibitor switch for the gearbox. And there's the other side of it, because they've cut it off the other side of the plug as well. So what's happened is this green wire was there, right? And then it would go all the way to that control box and then come all the way back through that green wire. And it was splined onto that blue wire. So basically, that circuit was a bit longer than the factory. It went through the box and then to the start inhibitor, right? Now, that is 100% my problem here, because if that box, even if it's, right, basically, the way I see it is, even though that box was turned off with the key I've got, okay, it will still have to perform a function as a circuit. Now, some alarms, you have to have it on for that circuit to be complete. With this system, I'm lucky because you can turn it off like it has been turned off ever since I bought the car. It's probably been like that for years, since somebody started faffing about with it. And it still completes the circuit, right? Even though there's no immobilising going on, it completes the circuit, which is good. But I've got a feeling there's some internal circuitry problem in that box, and it is causing an intermittent problem. Could be one of these joints for a start, because I wasn't happy with the joints. So there you go. I've just created my own little kill switch. I just need to pull the wires and that's it. Well, it's not a kill switch. It's a very inaccessible one, but I've got to tidy all this up. I've got to redo that because this black wire's been butchered. I'm going to have to go over everything. There's a wire in here that has also been butchered again. There's a solder there. I've got to remember to go over every single wire that hasn't been taped up, because otherwise it's going to be a disaster. But I can pull this all the way through now, I believe so anyway. Yeah, it will come through. So there you are, guys. You can witness the removal of something. Ooh, sugar. Don't damage anything, Andrew. Wow, that is a lot of wiring. There you go, that's how it branches into the car. Yeah, and someone's obviously butchered this blasted seal to get it in. I'll tidy that up, and probably I'll push it inward. Ah, there we go, I can push it inwards, but there's a gigantic hole going into my interior. That's not very good. I don't want water getting down. Well, this car doesn't see much water, but that is a bit of a hole. Yeah, I might have to deal with that. Well, at least my car's got some free ventilation from the engine bay. That's always useful. Not. So there you go, guys. But just to confirm things, before I do that, I've just got to make sure that all these joints are not touching, because I'm about to turn the ignition on. We don't want to short. No, that's good. That's good. I've just done a crimp and not a solder, by the way. But we can confirm that we've got a start. Good, there we go, job done. Right, so now that's a massive Achilles heel out the way. 1980s car alarm systems. You bugger. I bet that's what everybody said when they threw their alarms in the bin. 80s, 90s alarm systems. I tell you what, there's something to say about ECU PATS immobiliser systems from the factory. At least people didn't have to deal with these dreadful things. Anyway, I've got a lot of tidying to do. A little bit of de-rusting where the holes are being drilled, but no damage. Absolutely no damage. Just a bit of a crimp, some new insulation tape. Just checking, and off we go. Anyway, I shall see you soon in another episode. If you've got any funny stories about car alarms of the 80s, 90s, please feel free to put that in the comments. I want to hear your stories, and so does everybody else. Take care, guys.